But I feel like each one of these Nen beasts kind of ties in to the idea of ruling. You gotta love to be gone back yet. Don't you grab it. Welcome to Lobster Magnet and Friends. I'm here with my buddy Goro Gregoro.
Yeah, what's up?
And we are here to talk about Hunter x Hunter chapter 385, the return of Terror Sandwich.
Terror Sandwich and the Theta.
Yeah. I kind of love it. I've been seeing that name pop up more and more, and I think it's a great nickname for Tserriednich.
It's great Tesseric.
Tesseric, the great terror sandwich.
Yeah, it's a very appropriate nickname. I like it.
So, what do you think of poor Theda's attempt to try and end, kill Hitler before he could become Hitler?
It was a very roller coastery emotional chapter. I love how from moment to moment it seemed like the Theta was like was gonna fail her plan, but then when it looks like she shot Tesseric, it was like, holy shit, she actually did it. She killed the fucking prince in Zetsu. But then the whole Land of Music thing like kind of threw everything off. Like, what the hell happened?
So that's something I'm kind of curious to hear your opinion on. So how do you think he survived?
Well, that's an interesting thing. It must have to do with the sound of the Land of Music thing. Maybe Theda like imagined that in her in her fantasy world, and then she pointed shot at something at thin air, and Tesseric was really just standing there the whole time.
Yeah, the Land of Music seems like it's the most plausible, thing in terms of, showing her what she wanted to see. Although I was a little bit confused, though, because I guess now we're learning that this chapter took place before or during the events of, chapter 383 with the musical performance and Kacha leaving.
Yeah, so it's like we're going back a little bit in time.
Yeah, that was an interesting little dilemma, because, like, the appearance of that chapter, they made it sound like all of the princes were there to witness Melody's performance, and they were all there at kind of like a banquet. But I guess it was just sort of like a performance that people could go to, and then they, played it throughout the intercoms of the ship.
So does that mean that the previous chapter was also like before the events of that musical performance?
I guess it would have to be, because it was leading up to this, right? We never got any indication, unless Melody played, her music a second time. But, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, her ability, it needs that surprise factor. Otherwise,
I don't see why she would have a reason to do it again.
Yeah.
And I even went back to the art and I examined, but all you see is his head. You don't see his outfit, because I was trying to think maybe that would reveal if he was like in a suit at the banquet or if he was like wearing his training clothes.
Oh, I see.
But
Yeah.
but it was an interesting choice. It could have just been horrible coincidence, or it could be part of his powers, or he used him or something else to demonstrate what he wanted her to see. There's so many things. Although we get a little bit of a better idea of how like Tesseric's how his horse Nen power works. And what do you think of that reveal?
Yeah, I was curious, like how that other bodyguard figured out how Tesseric's guardian beast worked just from that. Like it didn't look very intuitive. Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's like first that marks you were the first lie, and then if you lie again, you get more damage from your face and stuff. And so every time you lie,
you
kind of.
degrade a little bit and you get like publicly shamed, and then obviously
So,
she's going to be forced into a situation where she has to lie a third time because Togashi would not have like, ooh, you don't become human, ooh, what kind of fucked up horrible monstrosity is he going to transform her into?
so maybe the best way to deal with Tesseric is just to flat out tell him you're a fucking monster.
Maybe. Well, this comes to what I think is like a larger theme of this arc. And I almost want to make a video on it, but I'm gonna have to wait and see like how it plays out before the thesis can either prove or be disproved. But I feel like each one of these Nen beasts kind of ties in to the idea of ruling.
Mm.
So, and even the Nen powers. Let's see here. Tesseric rules by fear. That is his system of rule. And the idea is that he wants loyalty, utter loyalty and fear. And his Nen Beast is designed in a system where if you lie to him, you're forcibly punished. But to survive around a creature like Tesseric, you're forced to lie. But if you do, and he catches you, then, which is just like the system to like build fear.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to how Donald Trump rules or governs. Then
Right.
you have, who's the other system of? Oh yeah, Sail had the cult of personality. His Nen Beast had the power to get people to sort of like his lazy, chauvinist, indulgent lifestyle. It would sort of like convince them to sort of see him in a positive light. Like the good charismatic party guy who has a good time, but isn't very productive or constructive. That is his power of rule. The power of personality, the power of charisma, motivation, and just bringing more and more people within his orbit as he's like the planet. And you could say that the fact that his like thing was like a moon that like vomited gas. That it was like creating an orbit where people would orbit around him, and they would just spread out like a virus and become more and more influenced.
Okay.
The little weird midget girl who like believes in religion or whatever like her Bible thing is, her is the rule of blind devotion, where it's all about the teachings of Tyson, and let's follow this the dogma of this religion, of love, but it may not be practical. We don't know how it's going to tie into her Nen Beast's power. I need to look into it more. I think Togashi might have explained it. Something about the teachings of Tyson. But, her idea is through blind devotion without any sort of larger critical reasoning.
I feel like if you look up the Nen Beast's Nen Beast abilities, you will be able to get a good idea of what they can do.
Benjamin, his Nen Beast, well, his not his Nen Beast, but his Nen ability, is passing it up. And the idea is that like he inspires such great loyalty and commitment. That is where he draws his power of leadership from. While Hockenberg's strength literally comes from the people around him that support him. And
No, wait. That's Benjamin's Nen power, I think.
I said that. I said Benjamin's Nen power. His Nen Beast is unrevealed.
Right.
So, but like there are a few of these that don't line up with it, like the weird, freaking chameleon monster you love so much.
Yes.
The ability to make chemicals and chemistry bullshit. Doesn't really line up with that theory of leadership.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
And the little Buddhist guy, the third prince, and his ability that like spits out random coins that give you special abilities during random points. Doesn't really fit in well, but like I feel like overall there's enough points, but I gotta see how this arc ends before I make some grand thesis, because it does feel like there's this great riddle in Game of Thrones. Have you ever heard it? Remember it or seen far enough to it? That Varys tells Tyrion.
I probably saw it. Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever.
so Varys and Tyrion are talking, and Varys tells Tyrion, three men are in a circle, and in the middle of them is a sellsword. One is a king, one is a priest, one is a What was the last one? What was a king? A priest?
Game of Thrones riddle.
God damn it! Why can't I remember the third one?
Sword. Ferris's riddle. Let me look it up. Bum, 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 bum. A king, a priest, and a rich man.
Okay, there you go.
With his gold.
All right, so a lord. So a king, a priest, and a rich man, are all in a circle. And the king, each one is telling the sellsword to kill the two others. The priest says, I carry favor with the gods. Kill them for me. I will give you the gods' boon. The king says, I rule you. You are under my command. Kill the other two. And then the rich man says, I will give you all my gold, all the gold you could ever want. Kill these other two. So the question of the riddle is, who lives and who holds the true power?
Is it the one with the money?
It's where men or people believe it lies.
Oh, interesting.
Power is an illusion. It is a shadow on the wall.
Power is where people believe power lies. Interesting.
You could argue that gold, all of these things within the rules of nature are artificial constructs. Money is an artificial construct that we believe holds value, even though, you bring a bunch of gold or, $100 bills into the forest, it's not going to get you fed or given.
Right.
Religion is a thing we believe in, but, as of right now, cannot be proven through the laws of nature. But it is something that we use to guide our, morality in a higher authority in things that we cannot explain. The king has illusionary authority that has been granted to him by the people. All of these things are artificial constructs that cannot be proven except for the things that man and people have built around them. So who holds the real power? And it all depends on who the people believe holds the power.
That's really interesting. That'd be really interesting to see if Hunter x Hunter is really tying in with those kinds of themes.
You could make a case for it. Like I said, this arc needs to finish before we can get at what the full statement of. But the fact that we have the king talking about the trolley problem, and we have this brutal ceremony, and we are little by little getting an idea of what each prince would do if they were in a position to rule.
Right.
And these Nenbi seem to be personifications of their desired ruling style, personalities, etc. So there's too much stuff here to think it's all by chance. I do think that there's a bigger theme here.
It's interesting.
Which is why this arc is quickly becoming one of my favorites.
So if I go through all the Guardian Beast's powers, let me see. Camilla's it's a manipulator with coercive ability that Camilla can complete control over a target once certain conditions have been met. So her ability is manipulation.
So there you go. Direct manipulation. That's a form of rule.
Guardian. The third prince's Guardian Beast is a conjurer with the compound type ability to produce a coin from its mouth every day. The owner of the coin will gain various abilities after fulfilling certain conditions.
Yeah,
it's like paying people off with money.
I guess. Yeah. You could say giving people currency that they believe will give them power.
Right.
That's not the best one, but if you're gonna straight.
Tesserix is not.
Tesseract is the power of fear.
Power of fear.
Control fear.
And prevent people from lying. The fifth prince, the chameleon Nen Beast, it transmuter with the ability to concoct chemicals with all manners of effect inside its body as a coexisting type ability. However, it requires a partner. That I don't really understand.
Power of Science,
So able to,
technological development.
oh yeah, through the power of science, in a way, that's another realm of rule. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna be
The the
high
the
technological advances.
the ultimate technocracy, science
Yeah,
and chemicals. That is how I will bring you
yeah,
prosperity.
through new innovation, new and evolving society. Uh, let's see. Um, Sixth Prince, the one who has like the Bible. It's an emitter. It's an emitter guardian beast with diffusive levy type ability through one-eyed lizard-like nen beasts that attach themselves to whoever listens to Tyson's teachings. It collects aura and bestows happiness in return. So it makes
So okay, so yeah,
loyal
yeah.
people even more happy and faithful.
It is happiness and faithful. It is literally the power of
Religion.
leadership through blind devotion. It is like the super churches in like down south where like these mega preachers like get people to spend millions of dollars on them so they can have these like ridiculously opulent things to the construct of Jesus.
So it gives everyone who is loyal to Tyson a lot of happiness. And the target, if the taboo is broken, harsh punishment is dealt.
Yeah, there you go. Old Testament punishment. If you don't believe in the power of Tyson or Christ, then you're going to hell.
Right. So seventh, is it Seventh Prince? The guy with the afro
Yeah, Lazarus.
things.
He seems
Losers.
to be the ultimate like liberal prince. I don't think his is known about. I just know that he wants to like legalize drugs because he's gonna like develop a super drug that gets rid of addictiveness.
Well, let's see. Uh, his Nembis is a conjurer that makes pseudo coercive manipulation. It has the ability to set traps by materializing whatever the target desires as bait. When the target satiates the desire, the trap is sprung and the ability is activated. So he's like
The
kind of
desire of leading through temptation,
bribery.
bribery. Yeah.
Uh, so he bribes people and then he'll get what he want from them.
I guess you could say it's a variation of Tesseric's ability in terms of like he gains leverage over people.
Right. No, this is interesting. So then,
We need
interesting
to,
to think about it in this kind of context.
we need to see a little bit more to like really justify it, but I'm having an easier time spinning this than I thought I would.
All right. So then, okay, the next
Next is Hockenberg, right? Or who's the eighth prince?
the eighth prince is Sale Sale.
So we already went over Sally's. It's the ability
Right.
of blind,
Charisma.
charisma, personality, cult of personality, getting just people to like him no matter what he does, and finding him appealing, and you know, it's kind of
Right.
like Kim Jong Un. Well, Kim Jong Un and rule more through fear, but they always have these footage of like people like crying when they like walk in. So I feel like there's an element of that.
So let me see. I want a good description of Hockenberg's Nen power. It's almost like Sale Sale's, except
Well, Hockenberg is, as far as we've seen, he's the Obama of the princes.
I mean,
He is like the most liberal. He is the yes we can, hope we can. He, ultimately cares the most out of the people, out of all the people we've seen. And his power is he gains strength for the people who support him, and in turn, he gives the strength back. He is the power of socialism, democratic socialism.
well, let me read the description here. And so Hockenberg's Nen Beast is an enhancer that also capable of soliciting manipulation after knocking them out. It imprinted a opinion. I'm going to say imprinted a feather on the back of Hockenberg's
feather.
bodyguard's left hand. Their memories of being rendered unconscious were written to prevent them from panicking. The more people are imprinted with the mark, the more of them gather around Hockenberg all the same will with all the same will, the more aura output grows, reaching levels that surpass all men. So, if Hockenberg gathers loyal subjects, their will and drive will magnify tenfold. It feels like it's almost like a perfect combination of like the religious one, um, the Saleh Saleh one, and it's even better. I think in a lot of ways even better than Benjamin's Nen power.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's one of the best ones we've seen. And then after that, I think it's Fugetsu and Kachan,
Right,
and they're a little bit harder to say. Fugetsu is like, if anything, these are less like you know leader powers and more like the children of leaders trying to cope with it. These are like
right,
the Obama's children of the succession war.
right. So Kacho's power is like self-sacrifice in a way, represents self-sacrifice. So her ability is like, if my body dies, like my will would live on
We'll live on to keep
to protect.
to protect you and give you comfort.
Right. Fugetsu's it's kind of like get me the fuck out of here kind of
Her
like
ability
is like I can get out of this situation.
it's crossing over from Mexico to the United States.
Yeah, like I don't want to be here.
It's leaving political strife.
Yeah, the power to leave political strife. It's like, all right, and Momose's, remember the mouse that was able to manipulate someone?
Yeah. If you like ask it to do something or something.
Right. So the mouse inquires a target of its choice whether they are free or not. Target responds yes. The Nen Beast uses semi-coercive manipulation on them to make them kill people in the surrounding area. So Momose's would be kind of like uh, manipulating people to do horrible things to get what she wants.
Psychological waterboarding, coercion.
That, or not only that, but just like random people, maybe to like, if she were a leader, she would try and get others to assassinate other political figures and stuff like that through manipulation, coercions, things like that.
And the one after her is like the kid with the giant reptile beast, but I don't think we know what it does, or maybe it like creates an alternate dimension.
Yeah, right now it's creating another dimension basically to protect the kid from being killed by all this political strife. Um,
It is the Baron Trump, Nen Beast, the ability to hide away.
the ability to hide away, kind of similar to Fugetsu's ability, and Wobble's Nembeast is still unknown.
Still unknown. Yeah, so we've got some interesting stuff here that Tagashi's talking about. Some a lot of stuff to deal with. But yeah, I like that about Tesserakt's Nen Beast ability and how it like promotes lie through fear, or promotes loyalty through fear.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like the children's Nen beasts are just not very. They're not aligned to that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Of
they're more like aligned for like survival.
yeah, because they're like, oh, we feel like we can't really win this succession war. Um, might as well just conjure up a Nen beast that helps us survive all this political craziness going on.
Well, the interesting thing though is last week we talked about you found out that apparently the Haley family, Morena Prude, is in an incestuous relationship with goddamn the king.
Yeah.
And you were
Yes.
100% right. I don't believe I completely missed this. Holy.
Did we not talk about this last chapter?
No, we speculated about it, and like we didn't have it confirmed, and we like talked about like, you know, oh man, if that's true, that's so messed up. And now
Yeah.
I see it's true, and it's so fucked. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I don't know how Tagashi, like, it's funny.
He's able to slip things in because he jam packs like so much stuff into his manga.
Oh
He's
my
just
god.
like,
Well,
oh, by the way, they have an incestuous relationship.
Yeah, but like it explains so much about her character. Let's have a little discussion since I'm about to drop my video on Goblin Slayer. You've seen bits and pieces of it. You've helped with a little part of it.
We still have to watch the next episode.
What'd you say?
We still have to watch the next episode.
Maybe we'll do that tomorrow if you want. Are we on a quest like Black Clover to see like how much of it you can endure until you like say that it like, you know, this is shit, I'm done.
It's really bad, yeah.
Even like Tato was like, yeah, this is a 3 out of 10. So, all right, so I bring up Goblin Slayers because like I showed it to you, and you know, give me your first impressions about Goblin Slayer.
It's like very edgy, and it's has like a very supposedly boring looking premise, but you know, somehow they made it like still interesting and a little bit deeper than I thought, with, you know, the levels of intricacy behind slaying goblins. But should we save this for another video? Like,
I don't know if Goblin Slayer is worth its own video. All right, so here's my point. I don't get into this in the video. I get into a lot of other stuff, and it's coming out great. It's gonna be a fucking amazing video. Chances are it'll be out before I put this out, just because I want to get that done. It's a fucking great video. Oh, it's so good. But all right, so the biggest thing about why Goblin Slayer doesn't work is the fact that you have a very generic fantasy universe, you know, where there are like demon lords and dragons and shit, but you know, that operate like, you know, World of Warcraft, light novel, whatever. But then the goblins operate under berserk logic, but like there's nothing in the universe to like define like like, you know, okay, so like if this is a fantasy world, there's like all these things, and like, you know, goblins are the equivalent of like cockroaches or bed bugs. You know, if cockroaches and bed bugs like consistently raped people, then they would be a pretty big deal in any universe. But, you know, they're treated like, you know, how you expect it. But, oh, no, these goblins work by berserk logic. So it's that sort of like, you know, discongruity, or I'm not using the right word, but like the fact that these two elements, you know, the oil and the water of like the violent berserk logic and the generic everything else, that kind of like, you know, do not go together. So what Tagashi does, in many ways, like Tagashi,
it like doesn't fit at all with like the universe. Like, shouldn't the universe be like more dystopian if that was the case?
It should be much more grounded. You know, if this is a dark fantasy, then it should be much more grounded. You know, you shouldn't have a world where, you know, barbarians and, you know, sword fighters walk around and talk about stats and how many times they can use their goddamn spells.
I see. Yeah.
Like, you know, did like Shirke, you know, tell Guts, oh, I can use my fire spell? No, she's got to like spend like 20 minutes communing to the fucking astral realm, pray that like, you know, there's some sort of malevolent, you know, some sort of, you know, otherworldly entity in the Fae that she can call upon to help her. You know, she doesn't fucking just cast fireball.
Yeah, I think that's more direct reference to whatchamacallit,
to like tabletop games and
yes, tabletop games. He obviously loves tabletop games and like old-fashioned RPGs.
Yeah, you know, that's fine, but like you could do that without having so much goblin rape. So all right, so the point is like, you know, with like Hunter x Hunter, you know, having, you know, the daughter be involved in this fucked up incestuous relationship with her biological father, is like probably 10 times more f's up than like the goblin rape scene. And how does like,
Mhm.
Togashi do it? Does he have like some sort of porny scene where we see the Morena Prude, seductively, in a nightgown as her fat turd of a father, starts groping her? No, we just one line of dialogue in a text box tells us everything we need to know.
Yeah, yeah. The suggestion of it itself is pretty horrific, and the world that Takashi builds around that, you know, around knowing that, uh, is you know is a reflection of that, the horrificness of it.
Completely. And it makes her character far more understandable when she's like, I just want to see it burned. And first I was like, okay, that makes sense. She's got this scar. She's like cast out, and now it makes 10 times more sense. It's like, you know what? Oh, that go, you go, girl. You go kill everything.
Yeah, yeah. So in some ways we sympathize with her, but of course we don't want her to kill everybody.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
probably
But
just
like,
she's probably killing everybody else. She's probably taking out all her anger on everybody else, but the ones that she should take her anger
yeah,
out on.
of course, of course, of course, which makes her a villainous character.
Yeah.
But like, that's like a lot of nuance and depth for something that like only has like couple more pages.
Yes.
Compare that to the the infamous scene in the Goblin Slayer anime, the little berserk rape scene, and how does that stand up to you?
I was like, kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, that happened, but it's kind of like the thing about Goblin Slayer. Like, I haven't read enough of it to like see how the world, the seemingly normal outside world reflects this like horrible, like messed up, like rape scene. So it's like, you know, maybe like a little bit later on in the episodes, I'll see a little bit of, the darker sides of this world, like
As
reflect.
someone who skimmed through the manga and is betting that they probably didn't change much, the manga that adapted the light novel, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
But we'll watch a few more episodes. Maybe we'll do a video on it to see. Like, I'm morbidly curious to see if we can get to the point where, like, you just become, oh, this is trash. I'm done. Because transgressive sex and violence, it's never not going to be entertaining.
Right.
That's the fucked up part about it. Our little lizard brains are always going to be attracted to it on some level.
Yep. That's true.
But anyway, like that's an example of how, like, in basically what should be a children's story about this little kid who goes on adventures has like a super dark element, but it is handled with like the most poise and grace and delicacy that you could even imagine, or that you could
Which
ever imagine.
which thing are
Hunter
we
x
talking
Hunter.
about? Oh, yes, yes,
Just
yes.
one little dialogue panel. It's also interesting that if you look at the other crime family boss leaders, they're also like the siblings of the king. Like there's one guy who kind of looks like him but a little older, and he's obviously his like illegitimate brother.
Is it his brother or?
Yeah, they say it's his brother. There's one guy who's got like who kind of looks like Lazarus, but they don't really say anything about him. But the other guy they definitely do give him a box saying that it's his brother.
Ah, I see. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. Like there could be like brothers of the king too that are illegitimate, like from previous generations.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, this was a good chapter of Hunter x Hunter. It definitely gave me a lot of food for thought. I think it definitely gave us a lot of fuel for some interesting discussion. What would you rate this chapter, Goro?
uh, I was pretty happy with this chapter, even though it was self-contained. It wasn't as super complex, but it did make me question like what's going on with Tesseric. Like how did he not get shot in the head? And it has to do something with the land of music ability, but did he get lucky, or was it also like a combination of luck and skill on Tesserich's part? So I don't know. I give it a 9. It was a good chapter.
I give it an 8.5. I thought it was a very good chapter. It wasn't a masterpiece, but it definitely like moved things forward. But and I one thing I really enjoyed was that last moment at the end of the chapter where like Theda's having that moment with the other bodyguard. He's like, I could teach him Nen. Let me take over. And he's like, well, what are you gonna do about him? And then he says, I don't know. I thought you'd figure it out.
Okay.
Poor Theda.
Yeah. So it looks like Theta is going to have even more bandages on her face at this point. It's like she's developing like a little bit of a disease now, like
Yeah.
being around Tesseric.
Well, now she's got that like horrible mark to show that like I wonder what she's gonna do to cover it up, or if she even can cover it up. But that poor stupid guy. I must admit, Togashi did a really good job of like taking these two characters we've never seen before and getting us super invested in their relationship.
Yeah, because especially the Theta right now, because she's really in a lose-lose situation. I just can't see her ever getting out of this alive.
Yeah, she's the poor girl's like trying to dig herself out. She was like ready to kill herself because she knew the punishment of killing a prince.
Right.
And she tried to do something for the greater good, and she lost horribly. And now she's even in a worse situation with a fate worse than death.
Yeah. Exactly.
We just know Togashi's gonna like stretch his J horror imagination when he eventually reveals like what the final stage is.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. We need a little bit more build up though until that moment, because I think right now we got plenty of other plot threads we need to get to now. We gotta get to the spiders hunting down that
Miranda.
guy. Oh yeah, they're hunting down
They have to hunt down Marina so they can like get the ability to hunt down
I was
Hisoka.
thinking of the Crescent Moon guy who just teleports, but yeah,
They also need him too.
they're just going straight to the source too. But that'd be interesting to see Hisoka, or we need to see some signs of life from Hisoka. That's what I want to see.
Hisoka is the great white shark that we are waiting to strike, and Togashi's like waiting for the best moment to play that card.
Yeah. Jing, I want to see some Jing. Where the fuck is he right now?
In all this?
What's gonna happen? Oh, beyond Netero, he wants to escape at a certain point with the monkey guy, according to Kurapika.
Yeah, because we know the monkey guy's a liar and he's allied with him.
Right. So the monkey Zodiac is probably gonna try and break Netero out at some point, but still it might be still too early for that right now. It's like probably like at the halfway point when they reach some kind of island. I think it's like 9 days in right now to the journey.
Yeah. So, and we're getting, apparently the banquet hasn't happened, but the banquet's coming up soon.
8th day in the journey. So I want to see where Jing is. I want to see maybe what's going on with Alumi, the other spiders, Hisoka. I feel like this would be a great time to Hisoka to make an appearance. Show up and like cause some fucking chaos. Like kill a Zodiac, kill a prince, like kill a spider, kill a crime boss. I don't care. Like I want to see him fuck shit up right now.
Yeah. Hisoka is definitely a wild card who we want to see deployed by Togashi.
Yeah, that's what's got me so most excited about this this arc. Like Hisoka can, well, it's one of the things that's got me most excited about this arc. Like Hisoka can pop up at any moment and just like throw a wrench in everybody's plans. He already killed few spiders already. So
Yeah, we really want to see more spiders, go up against him. He's gonna get a few more before this is all over.
to see him like actually unhinged and like fucking shit up is it's my favorite. Yeah.
One
What
last
what
question
about
before
you?
we head off. Do you think he's gonna kill Matchy?
Uh, I I don't know. Maybe he'll save her for last.
Possibly, yeah. I feel like he respects her too much to directly kill her. Oh god, and I want to see Hisoka versus Illumi so badly.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about you? What are you most looking forward to?
I guess I want to see Hisoka too. I'm not going to deny that. That's something. I mean, we'll probably get another chapter of Kurapika doing rules lawyering bullshit, but seeing the Hisoka payoff would be amazing. I'm also like super invested in Benjamin and Tercerich, so I wouldn't mind seeing those two like come into some sort of direct confrontation.
Yeah, yeah. We could definitely get some more chapters of Benjamin overseeing all the other princes, seeing what the hell's going on with everybody at the moment.
He seems like he's in the best position to like win this thing, and I
He's
don't.
winning the information war right
He's
now,
winning
but
the information war. He's winning the Nen war. He's winning the. He's the best soldiers. He has the best troops. He is for what we know the most versatile set of abilities. So the question but I feel like it's too obvious for him to win. There's going to be some sort of downfall. So I'm really interested in seeing how that plays out.
yeah, it to see like how Benjamin could possibly execute more plans to eliminate princes, that'd be interesting. I would also like to see some of the slightly lower ranked princes like executing their own plans, like the third prince. Um, even like, well, Tesserix, he's so focused on his Nen trading right now. He probably can't be bothered with the succession war at this point. But I like to see, yeah, like the third prince to see what his strategy is, how to win the succession war. Um, if he has like he has other bodyguards on certain princes, but oh yeah, he sort of allied himself with Karapika to try and get to a stalemate, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what sort of like other princes are gonna follow Karapika. Maybe we should just see more Karapika, and then you know more progress more with the there was that assassin.
I couldn't care less about that assassin or silent majority. Fuck silent
Yeah,
majority. Silent majority
silent.
is boring. Fuck it. I don't want to see it ever again.
Don't you? Aren't you curious, like who the user of a silent
No,
majority?
because I'm pretty like I've heard that it isn't that guy, but I feel like it's gonna be that guy.
No, they said he couldn't even see what the handmaid was looking at.
No, I don't think that's interesting. I think it was a boring plot thread. I want to see more high level prince battling.
But that could be tied to Prince battling that assassin.
It seems
It
like
could
it's
be like one of
really, really like weed stuff, not like stuff in the trees. But all right, so I think we've had a very very fruitful discussion about Hunter x Hunter. We look forward to this chapter. Hopefully, I'll try and get this video up before the next one's out. Um, Thank you for hanging out with us. Give us your comments. We love your comments, as you saw in the last video. When you suggest good shit, I'll try and put it in the video. Um, you know, Enjoy your terror sandwiches at home. And
yeah.
remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.